3 years ago, Origin Effects made a major splash in the bass gear verse. They launched the BassRIG pedals, which gave the concept of amp and cabinet simulations in the hands of bassists who would never touch anything digital. They went for the Fender Bassman and the MPEG SVT, this one, the two most important vintage bass amps. But are they really? Isn't there one even older, even importanter? Yes, there is the MPEG B15, and that's the amp Origin have dedicated their third BassRIG pedal to. Hi, welcome to Bass the World. My name is Gregor Fries, and today I'm accompanied by the wonderful Mr. Frank Ed, playing a bunch of basses through the Origin BassRIG 15. This is a preamp, a DI box, a cab sim, but also a drive if you push it a bit harder. But its main role is to replace your amp or a digital amp sim unit with something entirely analog. The MPEG B15, also called the flip top, is the most legendary recording bass amp of all times. Now with all the modern tools available, they've come a bit out of fashion, but that doesn't mean they're any less good. When you put on the radio, especially when listening to older stuff, there are B15s everywhere. A lot of vintage bass tones that we admire were recorded through these combos. To be honest, these amps are cool and a lot of fun to play around with, but by today's standards, they're just completely impractical. They're heavy, tubes are expensive to replace, the amps are expensive to maintain. That's why we have these now. And the cab sim in here is really good, no phase issues, just a bit of extra low mids and smoother highs, just what you actually need. Here's the pedal without and then with the cab sim. What happened there isn't necessarily pretty. I definitely preferred the sound before the hand activated the cab sim. But this heavily dampened sound, as weird as it may seem to some, it's kind of what you want. That is what so often works in the mix, and that was just one generic sound. Of course, there will be a lot more highs in definition if you dial in more highs. Actually, the EQ in here is awesome. Super subtle in a way, but yet very effective. The bass and the treble controls aren't nearly as powerful as we're used to from most other amps. But they do what we need them to do, and there's no bad sound no matter where you put them. Above the EQ we have the most important controls, drive and blend, which mixes the direct sound with the preamp, and output as your main volume. These BassRIG pedals are always designed to also give you a proper drive sound if you dial in more gain. This one's no different. Here's a Fender P-Bass with flats and a low gain sound from the pedal. The EQ has a massive impact on the drive sound. Let's try it again, this time with a P-Bass with round one strings and a high gain setting. I definitely prefer the low gain sounds or the clean sounds, but it's all there. What's also there is a second layer of control, specifically for the outputs. It starts with a switch for the DI out, which decides whether or not you want to use the cab sim. There's also an option to have the cab sim permanently engaged, even when the preamp itself is off. Then follows a second EQ. This one's for the normal out, the output without the cab sim that goes to your bass amp. There's a low and a high cut switch, plus two controls to boost or cut highs and high mids, as well as your basses. This is amazing, means you can make a separate mix for your amp out and use the main EQ to send a perfect signal to the front of house. Brilliant. Last but not least, there's one more switch, a ground lift for the DI. When Origin released the BassRIG pedals 3 years ago, I was hoping they would do a B15 next. I didn't think it would take them 3 years, but to be fair, these pedals are not all they do. There are also other pedals, especially this one, the Kelly 76 compressor, their biggest release of the year. The BassRIG 15 is the perfect addition to their lineup. It's amazing for vintage sounds, but it's also amazing for a lot of modern sounds. I highly recommend to check it out. I will put some links to different Origin dealers in the video description below. That's it from me. Here's a Kelly 76 video, here's a fabulous bass shop, and here's me saying bye. Bass the World.